Hey everyone, Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark here, and welcome. I am so glad that you guys have dropped in to watch this amazing webinar. And what we're going to do in this webinar is I'm going to tell you guys how you can start landing some of these corporate training, speaking, and consulting gigs, right? So, regardless of how I introduce it to you, this is what we're going to talk about: how to get six figures or more corporate clients in 30 days or less. So the reason why I'm talking about getting six figures or more is that if you guys have done this right, and I'm going to tell you the ways to do this, then you are not getting just like training gigs or speaking gigs that are like a few $1,000s. We're talking upwards of the tens of thousands of dollars. So that's kind of the big deal with corporations and what they're paying their experts to come in and train and to speak and to even consult with, is that you're getting paid high ticket. And there's always ways to create more opportunities within corporation, especially if you make a really good impression with your speaking and your training. So we're going to talk about that because this is what we've been able to do with our clients. And yes, they get clients within 30 days. So um, yeah, pretty amazing. Now, does the six figures come in all at once within those 30 days? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but down the line, when they do a really good job with those introductory things, then it ends up being six figures for just one client. So if you think about all the things that we're going to teach you, and here's the other thing, guys, is like this doesn't have to take a lot of time. That's the other thing, is that people are really, trying to be smart with their time. And so this is the beauty of all of this, is that if you have something that is very expert to you, like you're an expert in this, and it's something that you're solving a big problem for corporations, and man, do they have a lot of gaps. Um, you don't have to spend a lot of time finding these guys, right? You just need to know the steps. You just need to know the next steps to take and what it's going to take, right? And I'm going to show you guys that. So we're going to talk about we're going to really talk about some two main things here, and they are going to be lead generation tactics, right? And then your next steps, like what do you need to do to implement. Implementation is really big when it comes to any of this stuff. So, and yes, part of it is going to be about your marketing and your sales, but that's the implementation. These are your next steps that you need to take. I'm going to show you guys the how you need to, and the next steps to take, and then you guys can go forward and implement. You got to implement. I will give you those next steps for implementation. So if you guys are coming into this and thinking that, hey, corporate sounds great, you haven't done corporate training, speaking, consulting gigs, no worries. This is definitely for you. If you already have and you want to do more, this is definitely for you too. So why corporate? If you guys are thinking I got to get out of corporate, or I don't want to do any more training with corporate, um, here's what's happening in 2023. So everybody is still in big transition, right? And so who is usually the last to commit to some of these transitions? Well, small, mid-sized businesses, yes, and also corporations, because there's just so many things. There's just so many things that they need to do. So think about all the things that happened in 2020, all those shutdowns, people working from home, people going back to work in office, and then of course the influx of new technologies with the AI and machine learning. Whew, throw on top of that the economy and all the changes that are happening, especially here in the United States. I know we've had a lot of those changes. You're looking at some pretty big transitions and gaps. So, whatever there's transitions, there's gaps. And so, corporations are looking for outside trainers, speakers, and consultants to fill these gaps. They don't have them internally. Some of them do. Some of them do. You will see a lot of people talking about having entrepreneurs, like entrepreneurs that are within a corporation. Yes, and those guys are great too. But there's still a lot of gaps. So if you are specific to AI yourself, if you are digital marketing, if you're sales, if you are health and wellness and fitness, if you are mindset, and if you are even wealth building, all those things, they are looking for people to fill those gaps. And it's not that there's all these different niches. There's a niche for you within a very specific corporation. So I'm really glad that you guys are here. And here's the other thing, is that corporations, they set money aside for further education and training. They specifically are looking for the things that are going to help their employees be the best employee and build the company. Team building is actually a really good one too. Leadership is a huge one in corporations. They're always looking for that. So just know they set aside money for these trainings. You just have to really nail what it is that you offer, the problem that you're solving for these corporations, and how you're helping them to improve, right? Um, yeah, you guys are gonna like this. It's really good stuff. So, what can it do for you? Regardless if you've done corporate training, speaking, consulting, or not yet, corporations will pay more. They will. Especially if you think about what the private sector will pay. Sometimes, if you're trying to get speaking gigs, and I hear this a lot, people come forward like, I want paid speaking gigs. Do you have any of those, Danielle? I'm like, well, yes. Yes, we've got lots of those in corporations. You know, and I have to ask you, have you gotten paid as a speaker yet? And a lot of people will say, no, no, I've done stuff for free. I've done trainings for free. Okay, so there is a transition that has to happen there, right? Now, one of the easiest ways that I have found people to get paid for speaking isn't necessarily to go out and on social media or go out to the speaking platforms and see what's available. That's not actually how. The fastest way to get speaking gigs is actually to go into corporations as a trainer and solve a very specific problem that they need solved for the business, for the company, for the employees, and for the team, even the leadership team members and the C suite level people. So that is the fastest way to get paid for speaking. You get paid as a trainer. So and you don't just get paid a little bit, you get paid a lot more. And so when you have that, when you can say, I'm a paid speaker, then it opens up a completely different type of speaking industry for you. So, something else to keep in mind. Okay, so here's the agenda, guys. We're going to talk about lead generation. We're going to talk about the big missing piece of lead generation. It is 95% of the time this is missed. It's very interesting because I mean, it's common sense, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it. But this is the missing piece. And then how to win with reach out. So lead generation, reach out, and then how to scale with reach out. Yes, scaling is going to be so important for you guys if you're really looking to go big on this, right? And then tools and technologies to support, case studies, and conclusions, right? All right, guys. So here's the first thing. Before we move on, you got to set the foundation. So here's what I want you guys to do if you haven't, and I believe that you can go ahead and pause this. If not, come back to it. But I want you guys to actually write down the goal. What is the goal of why you guys are looking in on this particular webinar? Do you want to get your first corporate training gig? Do you want to have to get one per month? Do you want to get two per month? Do you want to make a certain amount of money? Do you want to get in front of a certain type of corporation and you want to stay with that corporation? What is like the big overarching goal that you guys have for this? Right? You got to write that down. And so it is really important to have and make it very specific. So, very specific to what you want. And here's the other thing is that make sure that whatever that goal is, it's something that you can measure. So if you are looking for a certain amount of money to finish off 2023 with, write down that. That's a very specific, we can measure that. If you are looking to get in front of 5 corporations and get paid for those, then give yourself 5 spots for those corporations on the list of here's who I'm working with for the rest of 2023. So you guys got to make it sure that it's specific and it's something that we can measure. The next thing is like I want you guys to talk about your why a little bit. So why is it that you want to move forward with this? Why are you here doing looking through this webinar? It's going to take a minute to go through all the things. So there's got to be a really important why for you. Maybe you want to make more money. Maybe you want to be seen as an expert, and one of the ways to be seen as an expert is to become a trainer for some of these corporations that you think are amazing and that need your help. Maybe you want to make an impact. um, there's a lot of DEI consultants that come in and they do the training and speaking first. That's a huge one actually right now that's needed. And that's a big impactful piece for a lot of they do the training. Yes, it pays really well. Yes, it's part of their degree and their certifications. But they're making a big impact. So is that part of your why? Do you want more downtime? Maybe you're tired of working all the time. Maybe you came from corporate and worked insane hours just to turn around and be an entrepreneur and work even more insane hours. Maybe you don't want to work as hard as everyone says you have to because I'm going to give you the steps so you don't have to. So, what is that why for you? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want, what is the big thing that in the morning when you're like, I've got a lot to do, or I've got a lot of things to check off my to do list, you have that why. Yeah, it's all going to be worth it. So, write that down too. And then you're going to create a plan. So, everything that I give you, you guys can create a plan with, right? What are going to be your reach out methods? What is those measurable goals? What are those milestones? How are you going to keep yourself accountable? I want you to write down those two. It's a big piece of it. All right. So, if you have not heard of me, my name is Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. I am a digital disruptor. I'm myself an international speaker and also an international best-selling author. I also own an agency. I also own a big membership community. I run two podcasts, all that good stuff, right? I'll show you guys a little bit of that too. Um, so here's what I do. I disrupt your niche with message precision and position. So I really like to position people. I'm really big on marketing, digital marketing specific. I like to create an iconic brand, one that people can remember, and experts hire me to create opportunities online so that they can build massively impactful platforms and businesses. I get you the right leads to get you the right gigs. That's what I do. And I do it all because that is going to be the big impact that not just I'm creating, but I'm helping other people to create. So it all goes around. You guys can already tell I'm big on impact. And impact doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get in front of all the people. Maybe it's just about getting in front of the right people. Maybe the impact isn't necessarily a global or a worldly impact or even a national one. Maybe your impact is actually in your own home or in yourself. Maybe that's the impact. But that's what we're really focusing on is how are we going to shift your perspective? How can I help you shift your perspective on what is possible for you and beyond even just yourself, right? So, here are some of the brands that I've worked with in the past and are working with. I'm also highly featured these days. So, been featured on several platforms. I'll show you guys that a little bit. Again, I'm a podcast host, so I love training. And the funny thing is that both of my parents are educators. So, I myself am easily an educator, mentor, and trainer. It is something that I love doing. I love showing people how to do it. I'm a very experiential. Here's how you do it. Let me show you the ways, step by step by step. I'm also excellent at helping people and even my company go viral. There's a viral post that one, I believe that one hit 500,000 within a few days. So I know how to get a lot of people looking at what it is that you're doing and getting the right people into those funnels and into the door and then hiring you. So let's just say that when people work with me, leads are not a problem. In fact, the problem ends up being, oh my gosh, there's too many. How do I sift? That's usually, and we solve that too. But yes, that's what you get when you work with me. Yes, we've been featured on several platforms these days. Also, our clients are featured on even more than this, but we've been getting a lot of press here in 2023, and some of these are even for several years ago. So that's just a little bit. So, and we talk about different things. We talk about LinkedIn, we talked about AI, we talk about influence marketing, all those things. So, all of it, of course, is around digital marketing, and lead generation happens to be what we are experts in. So, here's the thing, lead generation for getting corporate clients is all about outreach, right? So a lot of times, and yes, they can come to you, but you have to start moving things forward. So we're going to talk about two main methods today when it has to do with outreach. One of them is warm outreach, the other one is cold outreach. Simple, right? Simple, simple. Okay, warm outreach. What does that look like? Okay, that is networking, referrals, and affiliates. That is your warm outreach. Those are when you have people helping you. People are helping you to reach out. So, and sometimes you're doing a lot of it yourself. So, networking. Where do people do that? Industry specific events, and this is specific to how do they get in front of corporate clients? Industry specific events, social media conversations. Like those are my top two. I'm sure there's more. Those are just the two we're going to focus on. Referrals. So the other thing is like client to client. So if you do a really great job training for one company, then the CEO may know somebody else that owns a large company or even a smaller company and says you need to hire so and so. They were amazing. The other thing is that your referrals could come from colleagues and or mentors, right? So, and here's the other thing, guys. When you're working with corporations, you have a lot of clients. It's not necessarily just the person that the hiring manager, it's also the employees. So keep all that in mind. So if you're training employees or if you're training a team, those would also be considered your clients. The other thing is that affiliates are great for warm outreach. Affiliates could be existing business partners. So I have a ton of existing business partners that are always getting me leads, that are always working for me, and I'm always working for them. Um, and of course, we do that when we're networking. So it's really good to have a very strong network and to have those affiliates within that network. Influencer partnerships. So thought leaders within your industry are always looking for affiliates. Another way of looking at this is JV partnerships. So influencer partnerships are sometimes labeled JV partnerships. So who are those thought leaders in your industries and how are you guys able to do that type of affiliate marketing? Um, you can also hire affiliates to do a lot of this for you and put you out there in front of their warm market or warm up a market for you. There are so many different ways to have affiliates. And so that could actually be your sales team. Your sales team could actually be an affiliate team where they get paid to bring you the right leads and you sell them. So you could actually have people do that for you. Yeah, that I just lump that into affiliates, right? Because a lot of times people will bring in a sales team to not work per hour, but actually to work for a percentage. And that can be highly lucrative when you have the right affiliates, the right sales people doing that, sales leaders doing that for you. Okay, then there's cold outreach. Now, guys, we're going to be a little cold outreach heavy on this, and I'll tell you why in a second. But this is, well, the big reason why is this is the thing that nobody likes to do. This is what nobody likes to do, but yet it is one of the best things that you can do. If you couple that with some of your warm outreach and some other attraction marketing techniques, then you are golden, right? So I'm going to talk about this because it's usually the thing that people don't want to do, but yet it works so well. And here's the other thing is that if you get this to work, I mean, warm outreach is easy. Like the cold outreach is hard, but if you're good at cold outreach, then warm outreach is very, very easy for you. So we're going to talk about a few of these: emailing, phone calls. I'm going to come back to this, and then direct message, SMS, which is texting, and voicemail. Right? All right. Let's go back. Emailing. These need to be highly targeted emails, right? You can, and there's three ways that you guys can do this. You can scrape them. You can scrape them from online. There's all these different tools. You can actually just Google scraping professional emails and then see what comes up. There's all these different ways to do that. Getting emails from brokers. So there's all these people that are email brokers. I don't know if you guys have gotten those cold emails, but I get them almost on the weekly now where it's like, hey, we have a targeted email list of so and so and so and so. That sounds really good, right? If it's the right one. Sometimes they're not. But you can also buy email lists. Sometimes these guys will give it to you for free too, just so you can try it out. We'll go try out these emails and see how it works. You can manually find emails via social media. So you guys may not know this, but on LinkedIn, all you have to do is go to somebody's profile and drop down and most likely they put their email or their email is somewhere on their profile. Now, I want to just say this one thing as you guys are writing this down. Don't go to 100 profiles per day to grab emails because LinkedIn will say, you can't do that. We're going to block you because we think that you're using a bot. That's what they're going to do. But I think what I've heard from LinkedIn in the last few months, so hopefully this is still the same, but try not to go over 50. Try not to go over 50 profiles when you're looking at their profile to get their email, right? But still, I mean, 50 emails a day, if that person has their email on their specific LinkedIn profile, is pretty good. That adds up very quickly. So, however, it's very, 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 very time consuming. So I'm going to give you guys a shortcut. Yeah, I give shortcuts too. You still got to do the work, right? But I mean, you don't need to spend 100 emails a day pulling that from LinkedIn. That's a lot. 50 emails is a lot. That's a lot. Um, I don't know. I don't think you guys need to spend that much time. You can actually, I'm going to give you guys a shortcut. Okay, so phone calls. So highly targeted phone calls, right? You can get those highly targeted phone numbers very similar to how you get those emails. LinkedIn profiles, people will have them there. Not all the time, but sometimes. So you can do the same thing, scrape them online. Get these phone numbers and the emails from brokers. A lot of times the brokers will give you the emails and they will give you the phone numbers, or you can manually find them, right? Um, okay, direct message. Yes. All right. A lot of people are like, DMs. I know, guys. I know. But actually, it's not that bad. It's not that bad when you know how to do it. Um, Groups are great. So, groups are great on LinkedIn. They're great on Facebook. And I think that's really the only two that they're great on. But they can work really well for discovery. And here's the other great thing, guys, is like if you're looking for a group, look for something that's an interest specific group. So think about this. Where are your ideal clients going? Maybe they're not necessarily going um to a LinkedIn group that's for other C-suite professionals. I mean, if that's not within their interest, then it's not. I had a client where she was a marriage counselor, right? She was a marriage counselor to executives in Australia. And so that was something that she was very, very targeted because she was very expensive. Like that's the other thing. She was a very expensive therapist, not your 150 an hour per hour type of therapist. This was like, I'm here 24/7 for you guys and you're going through a lot and it is very costly for a divorce and it can even ruin a business or a corporation or get you fired, all those things. So when we were doing this work for her, we weren't looking for marriage counseling for executives LinkedIn group. No. Because this is the other thing is that they weren't necessarily publicizing that they were looking for marriage counseling. So we had to be really targeted. So what we did is that we actually looked at where these executives were going on LinkedIn. And so they tended to be um, high flyers. They like to throw money around and they like their toys. And so we were looking on I think like Tesla interest groups. So very interest focused groups. Tesla was one. So cars were really big and yes, there are those interest groups on LinkedIn. They're also on Facebook. And so we were finding people there and connecting with them. Jewelry ones. I mean, I think it was so interesting when we ran these automations for her because she got CEOs from very well-known companies and brands, like legitimate. Wow, they're running the Paris office of this very fine jewelry fine jewelry company that everybody knows about. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like with groups interest, make sure it's very focused, depending on who is the decision maker for you. So another thing is that you can do direct message based on title and hashtags that people use, written content. So you can find people that are influencers on social media platforms and then see, what they're posting. Awesome. You can actually see what some of these C-suite people are posting. So with corporations, it doesn't necessarily have to be that only the company page is posting. Sometimes these CEOs are posting too. Are they just the decision maker? Sometimes the decision maker is posting. So look for those. Also look for the blogs of the influencers as well, because you may see that the likes and comments come from an ideal prospect. So SMS, which is texting, highly targeted phone numbers. Again, you can get the emails and all that stuff from the brokers if you want. Like I said, just make sure that it's very specific. I don't want just the emails, I want the phone numbers too. A lot of times you're not going to just get emails from brokers or you're not going to just get phone numbers, you're going to get emails and phone numbers. So, same thing. Or you can manually find these on social media, which, you know, same thing. You got to find the phone number. Voicemail, highly targeted phone numbers. Again, same thing. Scraping, brokers, and then of course you can manually find them, right? So it's just kind of what do we want to do? How do we want to reach out? But here's the thing. None of those methods are going to work, right? None of them are going to work unless you have this one thing first. Unless you do this one thing. One thing. Told you I was going to tell you the one thing. Like, wait, it doesn't work? Why did you just waste all of our time, Danielle? I'm not wasting time. Here it comes. Trust. This is the thing that 95% of the people miss. They're going to trust you. So it's cold outreach. You don't have the trust. With your warm outreach, you have trust. With your cold outreach, you don't necessarily have trust. And even if it's somebody who's referring you, you don't automatically have the trust. So whether the prospect trusts you or they trust the person who recommended you, you've got to have the trust, right? It's a big one. So how do you build it? How do you build it? Step one, you build rapport. You build rapport. Um, with relationships. So colleagues, build the rapport with them. Clients, build the rapport with them, of course. Hopefully you've done that before they become clients, but as they're still clients, keep building the rapport and the trust. Mentors, of course, that takes a lot of trust to have a mentor, be a mentee. New networking buddies, build rapport, build relationships with these guys. Cold prospects, same thing. Build rapport, build a relationship. And yes, you can do it during the actual reach out process, right? Okay, so step two, always, always, always make it about them first, right? So if you're going into a conversation and it's me, boy, does that turn everybody off. And it doesn't, and some people are nicer than others, but think about it this way. Think about it this way. When you have your mom or your dad or your kid or your spouse call and they're all about me, you're going to give them a lot of grace, right? So you can do that for a little while with your clients and colleagues. Well, maybe not your clients, but with your colleagues and your family and your friends and people that you're close with. Yeah, you can do that for a little bit, but eventually they're gonna be like, okay, I really got to move on from this. So, or we need to move on from this. Eventually they're going to stop it, right? When it's cold, they're going to be like, I'm not listening to this or I'm deleting this email. So, yeah, there's nothing in this for me. They're always asking. If they don't know you, then they're asking, what's in it for me? And if it's not obvious in the first 2 seconds, they're out, they're done. So, you got to make it about them. Here's an example. Unfortunately, I was trapped in this spot. So, I really thought about just clicking out, but I was on a podcast interview. I was the guest. I wasn't the host. I ended up being the host because the podcast host wouldn't stop talking about himself and his opinion. And there was really, I'm like, do I even need to be here for this conversation? But here's the other thing is that that particular podcast episode, and I was polite because I was recording. Luckily, it wasn't live. The podcast host reached out and I said, "Can you know what? I actually don't want to. I don't want you to release that podcast episode because I didn't really feel like it was a good conversation. Um, I mean, I barely got to talk. So, I'm not promoting it. If you want to go ahead and put it out to your people, go ahead, but don't tag me on it because I'm not promoting it. So, yeah, and the other thing was is that he was not happy that I said that, but I said it because I'm like, I'm not promoting it. Don't expect me to. You didn't even let me talk. And so did I burn the bridge? No, the bridge was already burnt. And it's too bad because I have a massive, massive following and it would have been his ideal clients too. Um, and it is what it is. But that's the thing. He didn't know me. We didn't even, that was the first time we'd ever talked. And it was all about him when I was the guest expert. So think about it. Think about that before you do these email outreach. How can you make it about them? Personalization, right? Personalization. So, no, hi, citizen, or hi, first name merge that didn't work, or hi, to whom it may concern. You want to personalize it first and foremost with a name, right? Um, and then you want to give first. Like it could be a question with the intent of giving first, but you want to give first. You want to give them something and don't make them pay for it first. And you want to understand how to make them look good. That's the other thing. I know everyone's like, wait, what is that? Wait, how do I do that? How do I do that? Well, I'll give you guys a couple of other examples. When people want to look good, they want to be noticed, they want to be seen, they want to be visible. So, what's a really great way that I've learned to do this online is that when I'm doing a cold outreach, a lot of times I'm asking people, hey, do you want to be a guest speaker on my podcast? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. What's it about? They'll ask about the podcast second, but the fact that I'm like, hey, I want to put you in front of my audience of 100,000 people on my podcast, this is what we would talk about. Would you be interested? Heck yeah, I would be. I don't think I've gotten a no actually ever on that. No, not even with like big names. And I've got a lot of big names coming on some of my podcasts. They don't say no because they understand that I have the following. I'm here to make them look good. So find a way to do that too. How do you make them look good? Maybe that, especially like corporations, maybe the way that you make them look good, is you make them look really good by hitting the numbers and their investors are happy. It could be that. It could be that they're actually a business development and further education director, right? That could be what they are. So you're gonna make them look really good by giving really good training to their employees, and then their employees improve drastically within a very short amount of time. That makes them look really good. You just need to tell them that, communicate that with them. How are you gonna make them look really good? Okay, step three, give massive value. Massive value. So that give first, this is part of it. So lead magnets. And this is the thing with the lead magnets. Make it so good people feel stupid for saying no. That's from our buddy Alex Ramonzi right there. So make it look so good, or make it so good people feel stupid for saying no. Like there's no way I can say no to this. This is why I haven't gotten a no whenever I present like, hey, I'd love for you to be on my podcast. It's got 100K people following, expanded reach. And I want you to talk about this topic, which you're an expert in. I mean, yeah, who's going to say no? They may say, I can't do it next week. Can I do it a couple months later? That may be the only thing I get for pushback. So lead magnets, really think about people, make it so, so good that they're like, I can't not say yes to this. All right. Free discovery calls are great. So a discovery call can be for anything. This is the other thing I don't get a lot of no's at is when I offer a discovery call to help people improve something that they know they need improvement on. So like LinkedIn profiles, like I'm like, hey, I can give you like a couple of tips that are specific to you for your specific LinkedIn profile that are going to help you move forward. I mean, I'll be real with you guys. I've offered people that are LinkedIn gurus. I'm like, hey, you're missing a few things. You want me to, and I said, no big deal. It's just, I know this can help you. I'm happy to do like a quick little, clarity call and see if you want to know more. I mean, they'll say yes to that. People who, are themselves like a LinkedIn guru. I'll say, hey, there's this one thing that if you add it, it'll, 2x the amount of people looking at your profile. I mean, who's going to say no to that? I mean, especially if they're gurus at it. And I'm like, hey, I know exactly what you need to do. Yeah, let's do that. So that too can work really well. You have to identify a couple things with the discovery call. So you have to identify, here's something that could be a potential weakness. You got to know that they want to improve it. And there's got to be some reasons behind that. So free discovery calls are really great. Introductions, anything that's going to like blow their mind, right? And here's the thing, guys. So, what I want to say on this is you got to be very careful. So, there's a line. There's a line that you want to be very careful of. And so, and I'm going to use myself as an example with the LinkedIn discovery calls, right? Because you don't want to, you don't want to say, I'm going to fix you. You don't want to say, I'm going to fix you or their company in any way if they haven't first shared that specific pain point and or challenge with you. Now, like I said, I have to work a very fine line when I go after people, not after, but when I approach people who they themselves, they could even be people that are doing profiles and stuff. And so I have to be very careful with that. And I love using that example because I don't come across as, well, I don't now. I have before. I don't come across as like, you need fixing. Let me fix this for you. I do this in a very, gentle way. I'm just like, hey, there's a couple of things that have come out on the LinkedIn algorithm. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's this. And if they say something like, yeah, actually, I hadn't heard that. I'm so glad that you brought that up to me. I'm like, yeah, well, I did notice I changed a couple things on my profile. So a lot of times I'll use myself. I'll throw myself under the bus. Like, I actually had to change a couple things on my profile and it worked really good. I'd be happy to jump on a quick 15-minute call with you and tell you the things that I changed for your profile. See, and that's different. That's not saying, you're wrong or you got to fix this. It's completely, it's completely like, hey, I don't know if you knew that LinkedIn changed this or if you got that email. Sometimes LinkedIn actually will send out a memo to people that are seen as like top voices. So I'm actually a top voice on LinkedIn. And so they will send out emails that send out trainings, and sometimes, I even have colleagues that get it before I do, and so we just share that information. Now, not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets it. So when I say those things, I say it's to help them. And sometimes what I find is that those are, and you guys may be wondering like, why are you reaching out to people who do similar things to you? I'm like, because those are some of the best partnerships. Those are some of the best partnerships, really, because they may not actually be the ones that go in and do it for corporations, and they have corporations all the time asking like, hey, do you do this? Do you train people in this? No, that's not my thing. I like to do one off, right? So I love actually networking with people that do the same thing because we all do different things in subsets within. something very similar. So always keep that in mind too. So you don't want to fix anything. You don't want to go in and tell them that they need fixing or their company needs fixing or their employees need fixing. Even if the employee came to you and said, "We need fixing." Mm, don't do that. Do not assume. Do not assume that they know. Maybe the employees know and they don't know. Ask good questions instead. Right? You see how I asked a question before I came right in and said, "I'll fix this for you." I asked a question like, "Hey, did you know? Did you know that LinkedIn changed up the algorithm? Have you heard about this yet?" "Oh, no, I didn't. That's really great. Thank you for telling me." "Yeah, I mean, actually, I went in and changed. I actually went in and changed this, and I know it's a big difference. And be happy to just jump on a quick call and show you if you want." You know, always looking to build up my network with people that are like minded. Why not, right? So I use that example so that you guys can understand, like, what does it look like to do this in a really good way? And it's, again, it's a fine line. So let them self-select in. So they self-selected in. They said, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great." If you don't, this will take you right back to the beginning, and most likely will burn that bridge, right? So think about these guys that if you haven't gotten those types of emails or those messages where um it's very interesting. There's a couple of examples. I'm going to give you what not to do. So, hey, I went to your website and this is actually pretty generic and they're trying to make it look, they're actually using merge features. Like, I went to your influence builder website and I noticed that your blog looks really good, but you're missing SEO keywords. And so I can fix this for you. You really want to do this because of A, B, and C. And so they're using kind of a scare tactic to get you to jump on a call with them. I mean, here's the other thing. I'm just like, yeah, and I don't care. That's not how I get my clients anyway, but they wouldn't have known that. If they asked, like, "Do you get your clients from SEO because there's some improvements that maybe you don't know about?" That would have been a completely different answer from me. "Oh, well, yeah, I do use SEO." Or I would have responded in my case, like, "No, we're not big on SEO because we actually get our leads a different way." But that's more of a conversation. There's no assumptions there. So that's kind of an example of what not to do. Don't go and say something wrong. Something's wrong. I mean, I've even had people say, "Hey, you got a typo on the sales page that I wasn't even using anymore. You may want to fix that," from somebody who wanted to come into my company and he wanted me to hire him. Um, and I was just like, I just told him, like, I I don't even care about that. I wasted time reading this, is what I said. I was like really not in a good mood for it. I'm like, another one of this particular, I'm like, I shut down that sales pipeline a while ago. But that's kind of what I want you guys to take from this. So what do we not do? What do we not do? We don't assume. So you may do anything for their love, but don't do that. So yeah, I brought in Meatloaf for this one. I did. I did. It's just a gift though. He's not singing. You can't. He's not really singing. It's just a gift. All right. So here's the truth about trust. Those who are warm to you won't need as much from you. They won't. Those who are cold to you will need a ton from you. So you got to blow their mind, right? So remember this: those who are warm to you won't need as much from you. Those who are cold to you will need a ton from you. They will need a ton, a ton, a ton, a ton, meaning a lot, right? That's the big, big takeaway. But there is only so much time in a day, right? You're like, oh my gosh, how I want to do cold outreach. It just seems like a waste of time right now, Danielle. So I think I'll stick with networking. Hmm. I get it. I understand. And I also know that there's a better way. There's a better way. You need to automate your personalization. Yeah, you could do it. Not like the example I gave you where this guy is like merging in my website. No, you don't want that. But you can do other things where you can automate your personalization, both warm and cold. Be very selective with your network, with your warm. Like you can selectively network, right? If there's only so many hours in a day, then how many of those hours do you want to spend on sales calls? How many of those hours do you want to spend warming people up? Because here's the other thing, guys, is that one-to-one networking is very, very time consuming. And you want to be very selective with who you network with because you also want to know that they have a network. I mean, how many times have I heard from fractionals that said, "Yeah, that was a waste of my time networking with all these people who were looking for the same thing I was." They didn't have any people in their network. Great. So that was not a great use of networking time. You needed to be more selective with your networking. So those are some things that will save you some time. And here's the other great thing that you guys can do. And it's not even that it's, I mean, yes, it's partly automated. You can hub your value. Hub your value. That's right. I made it up. It's my word. I'll tell you guys, I'm going to have to explain it to you. You're like, what does that even mean? So you're going to give away the things for free that most people would charge for, and you're going to put it in a hub. You're going to put it into a place where they can log in and get access to it. That's what you're going to. That's a hub. That's a portal. So hub, portal your value, but hub your value sound a little better because it's like hug your value. But yes, you're going to hub your value. So how do you do that? How do we do each of those? I'm going to tell you. All right. Automation. What tools to use? All right, I'm going to, again, shortcuts, shortcuts, shortcuts. Get a good CRM, customer relationship management tool. I use Kartra. I use it for a lot of different reasons, but I use it for automation too. You guys can get a 14-day free trial by going to that link. Yeah, great, huh? I will put the links below too, guys, so you have them. Cold emailing. Yes, you can automate this and make it really good. So register. Here's the first thing. Before you do anything, guys, this is a tool you need. You need to register for a different domain than your main website, right? Because you're going to be essentially sending out cold emails. If they get marked as spam and it is your business website email, mm, you get X'd out by Google. We don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to use Google to our advantage and we're going to buy our domains from Google. Yeah, domains.google.com. Go get one of those. Buy a domain from there. Keep it similar. Keep it similar to what it is that your business is, but not exactly. And then add one email with that account. You can do it all right within the checkout. It's great. So those are going to be links. Yes, I will put them below. That's how you're going to, but you can automate from there. You're like, why do I need this email? Well, then you can register for lemlist.com. You can actually get a free trial with them too and follow their guide to connect your email accounts, a step by step guide. Go ahead and connect your email account to Lemlist. Now, the reason why I want you guys to use Lemlist, because there's a lot of different ones that you can use, but Lemlist will actually connect in with some of the things that you're doing with LinkedIn. Yeah, it will. It's amazing. You also want to go ahead and register for a LinkedIn automation tool. We have a private label. So we use something privately that is amazing. It is the best thing out there. But because it's labeled within our offerings, I can't offer it to you without you paying for it. So I want to give you guys something that you can run with after this. If you're like, hey, your programs sound great, I'm just not ready for them, but I still want to move forward, then here's a really good one. You can get a automation tool. Expandy.io is the highest rated. So you can go check that one out too. By the way, none of these are affiliates. The Kartra one, yes, that's an affiliate, but that's just so I can get you guys a free trial. But like you guys can go right into Google. That's not an affiliate. It just works really well. Lemlist, not an affiliate of that. Expandy, not an affiliate of that. So I'm telling you guys this because they're really good. They're really good and they do work. Okay, automation, where to use it. So where can you use this automation? Cold emailing, LinkedIn connections, DM messaging on social media. Awesome. And then here's the other thing. Where else can we use automation? We can actually automate. We can automate our text messages and we can automate our our cold calling. Air.ai is one, right? Now, that's like a pro level thing, guys. I'm not going to go into that today. That is definitely something for some of our bigger programs because it's a little there's a lot to it. That's all. So, if you're not there, my suggestion would be get good at the emailing and the DMing. Get good at that first and then bring in some automation tools for sales calls. Like you got to be really good at sales calls. Okay, so automation, how to keep it personal when you're using technology. That's the other thing. Is like, yeah, but doesn't automation take away that human to human experience? Doesn't have to. It really doesn't. So here's a couple of examples. Make your requests and subject headers all about them, right? So this is why I talked about make it all about them. So on LinkedIn, let's just say that you want to send out a connection request. You're going to use that automation. What is going to get them to connect? I know what's going to get them to connect, and I know what's not going to get them to connect. Really, I do. I know this really well. And I actually have the stats to prove it. I have the stats to prove it. So I'm going to give you guys one of my really good ones. LinkedIn. So if you're sending out a connection request, you can put and you can merge the first name. So hi, merged first name. I see that we're in the same group. Name the LinkedIn group. And we have some first degree connections in common. Let's connect and see how we can network and collaborate. those will get accepted. Not by everybody, but by a higher percentage than something else like, hey, it looks like we have a few people in common, thought it would be great to connect. Or even worse, none, nothing. And they don't even know who you are. They're like, yep, gonna sell to me, gonna sell to me, gonna sell to me. In fact, even when I get those, like when I send out, and I actually recently tested two different ones, and I was like, ooh, wow, people must be getting this from more people, or they really are like, nope, she's gonna try to sell to me. And they would actually answer the connection request message, no, and not connect. So it's like, whew, okay, not that one, but this one right here works. So you guys can use that for connection message. Yes, you can automate it using Expandy.io. This one works really good. You can use the merge field for the first name. Okay, so cold email. What are you going to do on that? So you get all the pieces in place for the cold emailing, and then you probably are wondering, "Oh, what the heck do I say? What do I say?" So I can't give you like the whole thing because I don't want to. I want to be specific, but not too specific. And a lot of people that come into this do sales, right? Your subject header, you got to you got to build trust in the first sentence, and so this is where people freeze. So I'm going to give you guys a cold email subject header that works really well. First name, and yes, you can merge it. 3x sales goals in 2023, worth a chat. 3x sales goals in 2023, worth a chat. So if you're sending this to a director or management level person who has a sales team that hasn't been doing great, and even if they have been doing great, it sounds great to 3x the sales goals, right? Worth a chat. And so that type of subject header is going to get open more often than not. It just is because if they're a sales leader and and they have a sales team that they're trying to get to be leaders, it makes sense to like, what is it? And people are always looking like, what is it that we're missing? Can we actually 3x it? And so if you are in sales or if you're a trainer and you help sales teams, something like this will work really well. Now, I gave you guys Lim List. I do believe they do that first name merge. I'd be really surprised if they don't. So if you guys go with something else, just make sure that you test out the merge. Like that's the thing I just want to tell you guys. Like make sure you test it out because the last thing you want is something that says first name 3x sales goals in 2023 worth a chat, and it just does that and it goes out to like 500 people. Yeah, not great, right? You're not going to get great response to that. They're going to probably make fun of you. And yes, yes, I've done that before too. I have. I have done all the mistakes. I promise I've done all the mistakes. And I've done all the testing. So I can understand. What I'm working with. Sometimes I've done mistakes on purpose because I want to work with a very specific person that is solution oriented. And so they'll nicely point it out and just like, you know what? I really appreciate that. You're right. I guess I have to work on that a little bit. So just when it makes sense, guys, make the mistakes. I guess is what I'm saying. Okay. So automation, how to keep it personal, continuing on DM messaging on social media. Hey, first name. Yes, you can do this with Expandy. Hope you're doing well. I came across something interesting that made me think of you and your role at, and then put the company name. What would you say if I told you there's a way to potentially 3x your sales team goals by the end of 2023? Intrigued? I've been working on some exciting new training methods and would love to share them with you. Could we hop on a quick 15-minute call this week to chat about it? Best, and then your name, right? Yes, you can automate that. And you guys are actually creating trust and rapport and interest very quickly because you are asking first, right? You're asking first. You're looking for ways to make them look good. Looking for, it's about them. It's all about them. I have something that I think could help. And you're leading with that value. So this is a really good one too. It goes with that email subject header too. Could you use this in the email subject header? Yeah, you could. You could. I know you guys are like pausing and writing this down, right? I hope you guys are. But yeah, so think of it that way. Can you use the merge feature for the company name? Yeah, as long as you have an Excel that you're uploading that has everybody's company's name, yes, you can. So again, test out any of your merge features with whatever platform you're using. And then you can use it on DM too. All right, so selective networking. We're going to move on to this. Who are the best to network with? Clients, colleagues, friends, and family, network buddies. Yay. But you got to be selective. You got to be selective. Yes, you got to be selective networking, how to approach it. So, with any of those people, whatever you guys are doing the networking for, how do you approach this? When you really want to talk to this person about whatever it is about networking, about who do you know that I can help, you have to look for the triple win. and you have to approach it that way, right? And all of this can actually filter over into your cold messaging too. But the triple win is a win for them first, a win for them first, a win for their network. So, hey, I got a win for you. I want to give you money, and I want to help people in your network that really need me. So win for them first. I want to give you money. I'm going to give you money, or I've got some connections for you. I'd love to network sometime. So win for them first, win for their network, win for you. I mean, they kind of slide in all at the same time. I mean, but this is just how I like to lead it. I like to lead it with a win for them. Hey, I'd like to give you some money, or hey, I'd like to give you some connections. Lead with that. And here's the other thing, guys. If you are being very selective with your networking and you're leading first and you're not getting what you need afterwards, guess what? Just cut that bridge. Yeah, just tear that one down. I mean, because, fool me once, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So don't make it a shame on me. Don't do it twice. So that's the other thing. Reciprocity matters, but just know that you are intentionally moving forward because you can help them and they can help you, and that's how you're selective. It really has to be that triple win. So look for that first, look for it first, and be very selective with that networking. It will save you time. It will save you time. I let people go all the time if there's no reciprocity. I just will. I'll cut them all the time, and I will tell them, hey, this isn't working for me, I'm done. And that's it, and then that's it, it's done. um and I'm very intentional with, like, hey, I'm happy to network. I like to have a really good partnership with networking where we're both trying to help each other. And so I set the intentions very well. If people approach me, I'm like, I'm all for it, and I'm very giving. But here's the other thing: there's got to be some reciprocated effort here. If there's not, then I'm just not interested in it, and I cannot help you further. There's other people that are really needing my help and really want to help. That's it. That's it, guys. You guys don't have to be like as brutal about it as me. You don't even have to say anything half the time. You could just ignore. And that all works. So selective networking, how to get them to say yes. Like I said, how are you going to get them to say give first? Always, if you're doing the approaching, you need to be doing the giving. If you're approaching, you need to be giving. That's just how it is. Approaching first, give first. Make sure what you give is what they need. That's the other thing. And you know what? You guys actually want to ask if you don't know what they need. Just ask. Just ask. Look, right down here. If you don't know what they need, just ask. Hey, I really could see some synergy here. First name. Um, I'm just not sure what it is that you need right now. Would you mind telling me? And then maybe we can network. That's it. That's all you have to say, and they'll appreciate you asking and not assuming. And here's the thing: just take some time to plan. Just plan before you reach out. I actually will have an Excel when I'm reaching out to people. I'll have a plan in place. What is it that I think that they need? Do I know this for a certainty? It'll be a yes or no question. If it's a no, then I'll ask first, and so my messaging will reflect that. I want to ask. I want to ask. Okay. Hub your value. Yay. I like this one. All right. Give away the things for free that most people charge for. Yeah. Yeah. Give away the things for free that most people will charge for. What are most people charging for? So, some lead magnets people are charging for. So, compile your very best lead magnets for attraction. What is it that people really love that you do? What is it? Put a list together of that. Compile that. Um, Next step, value. Create a customer journey experience that is the next step after a lead magnet. So, with each of those lead magnets, think about the customer journey. Think about, actually, not the customer journey. Let me rephrase that. I should have changed that. The prospect journey. Before their clients, their prospects. So, create a prospect journey experience after each of your lead magnets. Like, list out, like, okay, they get this lead magnet, they're going to either do this or this, right? A or B, or C, nothing, or nothing. And they're going down the C road, just crisscross that out, doing A, B instead. And then what else do they need? What else is so with everything that you do, there's going to be a solution and then there's going to be another problem, right? So do you have a solution for that next problem? And then take the journey down there. Now, here's the thing. When do you charge? When do you charge for stuff? Well, hey, if it's something that you can explain on a video or in a PDF or something and do it in a broad fashion that's still high value, chances are that's a high value lead magnet. and you don't have to feel bad about giving it away. What are people really going to pay for? Well, they're going to pay for your brain for one. They're going to know, well, hey, that sounds really good. She gave really good examples, but how is this going to be specific to me and my needs and my company needs and my clients' needs and my my employees need, my team's needs? Ah, that's more time for you. That's where they pay. So hub it all together. Put it into a membership platform or a course platform that works too if you're going to do trainings. Kartra is my favorite. Yes, you can create all that right within Kartra. So do that. Hub it, hub it, hub it good. All right. Creating the hub. What do you most need? Well, you need to choose a platform. You need to map out the journey. So you don't have to use all your lead magnets in one place. Make sure it makes sense. Who you're trying to bring in. Map out that journey and then have multiple levels of upsells within that. So that's the other thing is like give them options. Like if they have something that's really specific to their industry, to their people, then that's where an upsell link needs to be. That's where I like book a discovery call with me. That's what you want to do right within those multiple levels, right? Or it could be right after a lead magnet. It doesn't matter. What makes the most sense? I would say that you want to have upsells or you want to have offers after any lead magnet, of course, because some people want to jump right in. They don't want to look at the rest of the stuff. Like this person knows what they're doing. This is exactly what I need. I already know I'm going to have to pay for their expertise in their brain. It's going to take more than 15 minutes. So yeah, I'm just going to hire them. And then ask for feedback with the free stuff. Like always ask for feedback. Was there something that you guys would have really liked? And so when people come back, they may want something. And I've had this too before where somebody's like, well, I want to know this for um, my specific offering, mine. And so when it's very specific to them, that's when you say, well, that's really great. Why don't you go ahead and jump on a discovery call? I have a program because it takes a little bit longer. And so that goes a little bit beyond just what we're doing here, but let's just see. Let's just see what's possible for you. And take whatever feedback they have that's not necessarily specific to what their needs are, and take what you can out that is broad. And then guess what you need to do with that? Create an FAQ section based on the feedback, put it in your hub. That's doing it for you. So when people ask, you can direct them right to the FAQ. Like I want you guys to automate as much as possible and to move people into your sales pipeline as quickly as possible. This is a great way to do it. Okay. All right. Here's the case studies. All right. Let's just talk about Kelly. Kelly here. She came from corporate. She came from corporate. She tried to do the entrepreneurial thing after corporate, and she worked with a lot of coaches. She lost money. And what do I mean that she lost money with all the things that she had to pay for and then getting a mentor herself? Um, all of that stuff. She didn't make a dime. She didn't make a dime. So she decided to go the corporate route. That's what she did. Okay. Now, how did she do the amazing things? I'll tell you her results in a second. So she used our LinkedIn systems. Yep, we have LinkedIn systems. She joined our business sales accelerator. I'll tell you guys more about that in a second. She created a very, very niche brand. She wasn't niche enough. That was like the first thing. And then we targeted specific companies who either focus on education. So they had to, and this is her niche, education, or had tools for educational institutions. So there was two types of avatars that we focused on. And boom, results. First 30 days, two 40K contracts. Two. She had a lot more after that. Three fractional consulting gigs, so another 30K. So that's the other thing is that you can get fractional consulting gigs. They may say, well, I love that you have this, but I want something a little. I think we need to start here first. And so a lot of times what I'll do with fractionals is I'll talk to them about like, well, what do you have for like an entry level where you can go and assess? Because sometimes, especially with marketing, for example, you need to assess. You need to assess before you can come up with a plan of attack before you can do the contract. So she got three consulting gigs that way. So that's 70K in 30 days. Yeah, she was a freaking rock star. It was amazing. Um, okay. And then we have Michael, another one who came from corporate. So he was one of the lucky ones. He jumped out of corporate with one high ticket client. Gosh, I know a lot of Michaels. There was like two that actually fit this that I've worked with. I've worked with a lot of Michaels. I have a lot of Michaels in my network. Okay, so he had one big corporate client. That was why he could actually leave because they wanted to hire him privately, right? So he could leave. But he was always worried that his main source of income would dry up. And eventually it did. It did. We got him going before it did. So he didn't want to be a one hit wonder. I have this one client and I feel like I have to kiss their butts all the time. And I feel like if I lose them, I'm never going to be able to find another one. And I don't have anyone in my, I mean, all these things. I'm just like, just calm down. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to take care of this. It's okay. So, um, and he really didn't want to go back to corporate because now that he had a taste of freedom and he saw how much he could get paid as a consultant, he didn't want to go back. He just didn't want to go back. So, yeah, that was it. Okay. So, he he didn't want to go back. So, and I didn't want him to go back either. So yeah, we took care of it. So, how did he do it? How did he not go back to corporate even though eventually he he lost the one hit, right? But he had others, so that's what's really good. He used our LinkedIn system. So, systems actually. He used a couple of them. Um he also joined our business sales accelerator. So that was the other thing that he joined. We created a no-brainer lead magnet. It was like, again, it was like, make them feel stupid for saying no if they say no. Um, so what he did is that he gave a ton of free value for 30 days. Yeah, 30 days. Consulting power for 30 days. It was amazing. And boom, this is what happened. First 90 days. And I say he had a lot happen within the first 30 days, but within 90 days, he had two 50K contracts. And then this is the big one 500K contract. Yeah, half a million. It was over 2 years, but that's 250K for the year for one client. And he still had room for tons more, tons more. So that was a big deal. And these are the types of clients that do take a little bit longer to get into. You could see that his lead magnet was 30 days for free. So this is why, like 90 days, this is what he was able to do. In 30 days, he was able to actually pull in one of these 50K contracts. But the 500K is such a big win. So I'm like, okay, we did that within 90 days. So I wanted to include it. All right. So Monica. Okay. She didn't actually come from corporate. So, like I said, you don't have to come from corporate. She was a small business owner. She had a very specific solution that was perfect for corporations, just not where she started with the solution. But she actually improved it so that it was perfect for corporations. She was tired of the hustle and grind with the smaller contracts and decided to go narrow and deep and increased her price point massively, massively. Um, all in approach, dropped all other offerings. So what do I mean by all in approach? She was all in. She's like, you know what? It's go big or go home. And in this case, it's go big or go bust. And so she was just all in on it. So she had an all in approach and she dropped all other offerings. She actually was like, this is what I'm going to do. Some of you guys be like, that's a big transition, right? She was okay. She was more than okay. So how did she do it? We have LinkedIn systems, we have LinkedIn sales systems, and she joined our business sales accelerator and focused on cold lead generation. So we do a couple different things. We do cold lead generation, which is our outbound, but we also do inbound attraction marketing. So, we actually will mostly do a combination of both. We go a little heavy on cold sometimes and a little heavy on warm. Just depends and on attraction. She actually went full in cold, like, nope, I'm just going to focus on this. Like, she really wanted to just focus. And so she was doing only cold lead generation, only cold lead generation. She nailed it. Like, within days, she nailed it. Um, so her 60 days was pretty amazing. Like, yeah, to talk about, I want to make sure you guys saw all of it. So within 60 days, 25K contracts, five, 350K contracts. Those got extended for the year, actually, which added an additional six figures. So those, not all of them, I don't believe. I think either one or two of them extended. So it was an additional six figures because it went on for like the rest of the year. So she got the 50K contracts that were like 3 months, 3 months. And then she got the extension for the rest of the year. So yeah, that was big. That was a big one. Um, Super happy. And like, I think she's got like partners and all this stuff now. That was like at the beginning when we offered this last 2022. Yeah. End of 2021, 2022 we're offering this. So holy crap. Definitely, I mean, she hit seven figures. She hit seven figures. It was amazing and going strong. Okay, so that's the case studies, everybody. So we talked about lead generation, the big missing piece of lead generation, which is the trust, how to win with a reach out. Gave you guys some really good examples, how to scale with a reach out, the tools and technologies to support, and then I gave you guys some case studies so you guys know like this is what's possible. All right. So I gotta ask. Well, not ask. I gotta give one more thing. I gotta give one more thing, and then I'm gonna ask. Okay. There's a big value add for you at below this. So below the links and some of the information that I gave on this, if you guys just look down a little further, I'm actually giving you guys 20 corporations and small businesses looking for trainers, speakers, and consultants right now in various industries. It's free to you. It's on the page. I mean, you gotta just cut and paste it if you want. So that's there for you as a thank you for spending some time with me, probably about an hour. I appreciate you guys, and move forward and conquer. Like just here, and if not these corporations, I want you guys to at least see what's out there and what's possible. So go take a look at those. Cut and paste them. Reach out. See if they need you. I will say the industries too. They're in various industries. I didn't want to just give you guys like one type of industry. Um, but let me ask you something. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you now. How has it been for you with getting these gigs? So whether this is new to you or this is something you've been doing for a while, how has it been getting corporate gigs? Has it been easy? Has it been hard? Has it been steady? Has it been unsteady? And no matter how you answer it, I'm sure you found solutions in this webinar. Like, again, I really appreciate you guys for spending the time with me on this. And I hope you did get some really good information that you can run with. But I do want to also say that it's not always easy if you don't know the steps. If this isn't something that you spend your time doing all the time, which you're working on your brilliance. So, I mean, you're working on, yes, you do the sales and marketing, but you also do the fulfillment. The fulfillment work is where it's at. Like you're the person that they're hiring. So fulfillment's big. It's key. Many times people come to me and they're looking for things to go faster. Like I want things to go faster. They don't, or I would love to do more of these, but I don't know the steps. I got lucky, is what a lot of these guys say. Like I just got lucky. But I really want something in place. I want to know the right steps, or the right approach. And they're wondering if they even have the right offer. Maybe they have tried it and people said, no, that's just not what we're looking for. Do they even have the right offer? And that's okay. Does it mean that your offer stinks? No, it doesn't. It just may need some tweaks. Um, they also want to know who the right contacts are, what are the right reach out methods, the best price points, and the shortcuts. Give you guys a ton of shortcuts on this. So hopefully you guys know some of the shortcuts now. Are there more? Oh yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more. And there are the right contacts. They are pretty easy to find. Can it be automated? Yes, all this can actually, most of this can be automated, which is really great. And if not automated, then you can actually hire people to help you with a lot of this so that you could just do the thing that you love doing, which is being an expert and fulfilling and speaking and training and traveling and all the good things. You don't have to travel either because Zoom is still like highly popular with training in corporations. Okay, so because really, here's what my clients and my prospects want. They really want to be more efficient with their time. I mean, something has shifted for us in the world as human beings. We all went through something catastrophic together. Like it's one of the things that human beings all went through this together. And so what has that done? Well, that's made us really look at things and how we were before the catastrophic event of COVID. And so what are people starting to appreciate? Their time. Time you can't get back. You cannot get back time. It's the one thing that you cannot fix it. You cannot get it back. So people want to be more efficient with it. And if you're that person, then you're going to really like this. People also want to work smarter, not harder. Goes with the time thing, but also just working smarter and not harder. Like I don't want to like hit my head against the wall on this. I don't want to figure this all out by myself. I feel like if I try to figure this out all myself, I'm still going to be 2, 3 years behind of where I could be. I want to work smart. They actually want to work less than 40 hours per week. So this has been something that's been really big for me because I'm a farm girl. I work hard. I grew up working hard. Um, that was just what we did on the farm. As I get older, I'm a lot older than I look. I promise you that. I'm a lot older than I look. I really want to work less. So that time piece, like I've been feeling that too since 2020. I've been feeling that too. So this is actually going to help you do that. So working less than 40 hours a week, yeah. Most weeks you can. Are there some weeks where you have to do a push? Yeah. There are. I mean, if you're speaking and you got to go there for 3 days and prepare, sometimes that can be more than 40. But for the most part, you can work less than 40 hours per week and still make a substantial income. That's the other thing. People are like, I want to make the most money that I can in the least amount of time to work. Who doesn't? I mean, I love working, I do, but even I'm like, yeah, 40 hours is it's a lot. I'd like to work less or not above 40 hours. I don't want to work 80 hours to leave a 40-hour job. Like that's just no. But people still want to make multiple six figures, multiple seven figures. People want to work less and make millions too. And they want to have the opportunity to scale beyond just what they're doing, right? How can I scale? Can I scale? You can scale when you have more time. You just can. You can't scale without, if you don't have any time, you can't scale. You just can't. If you don't have any money, you can't scale. If you don't have any team members, you can't scale. Like that's what it is. So, with all this, yes, you will be able to scale. Okay, so all they really want, like, okay, I was ready for this yesterday, Danielle. Like, I was ready for the solution yesterday. Okay, they all want it to happen really fast. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't, you don't have to be a millennial to want this. You don't have to be a millennial to want this. Everybody wants it to happen faster. Okay, so if you think about it, 50K contracts are the norm with training positions. That's the normal. That's the normal. Upsells for a job well done create monthly retainers. So think about it like this. Like if you do a really good job training and you get paid really well to do that training because you're an expert and you know what you're doing, you know how to train people, then an upsell is easy, right? Your trainings only have to be 3 hours per month. 3 hours per month. Now, what you have to do to get the training could take a little bit more time, but if you have automation and all the things that you need and the team in place, I mean, you don't even have to do all of it besides what you have to do initially. So trainings should only be 3 hours a month and getting paid like 40, 50K for 3 hours. Yeah, sounds great. Doing a really good job that upsells into another monthly retainer. Awesome. Here's the other thing, you guys, you're going to be working with teams. A lot of trainers will come in. They'll be working with teams. If you come in as a speaker, you're going to be speaking in front of more than a couple people. You're going to speak in front of a lot of people. So you'll be working with teams. You'll be speaking in front of a lot of people. You'll be consulting too. And here's the other thing is that you do a really good job. You get them going, chances are they're going to need additional trainings. So you can license your further trainings for these guys and have the option to further customize. So you can actually customize trainings based on what you guys learned in that initial training phase. Like all these things. It's amazing. I'm going to give you guys something really good in a second. So you can see you can essentially have 50K new contracts rolling in monthly. Like the information I gave you guys, you can easily have contracts coming in monthly. Put it on autopilot. 15 to 20K retainers happening after each gig. So if you guys are doing really great with your training and your speaking and your consulting, then you can get retainers after that. Um, or you can even and or you can license out additional trainings that are customized for the clients and get paid 2,500 per employee in a given corporation. Yes, yes, it's possible. Yes, we've helped people do it. Who have we helped do it? We helped Terry. We helped Terry. All right, Terry's freaking awesome. She was awesome. She's an awesome person. Um, so her consulting fees are 100K for 6 months. She's an executive coach to corporate CEOs, and we're not talking about just like little corporate. We're talking about big, big corporations or the up and coming CEO. That's the other thing. She would be the executive coach for corporate CEOs or the next in line. A lot of corporations have their next in line already picked out. She would work with them. 100K for 6 months. So she also had something for team members. So it's not just for the CEOs, it could be for leadership team and even the teams within the leadership teams. And she licensed out training courses, 2,500 per employee. So she would go in and she'd have like 20 people within a corporation. She's already making 100K with a CEO, but then she'd go into the corporations and also make money off of licensing her training courses. She would come in for an hour a month to check in, and they would still be in the courses, and she's still getting paid amazing. Yearly speaking gigs. So even with the same corporations, because she was doing amazing work with the CEO, with the team leaders, and with the employees, so she could get 15K plus travel and lodging expenses. So I mean, she could have one one client and make A couple hundred thousand. No, more than that. Several hundred thousands per year with one client. But because she was collapsing time by everything that she was doing, she wasn't stuck with just one of these clients. She could have, I think she could have up to 10, 10, 10. So, yeah. So be like Terry. Be like Terry. All said and done, Terry worked like 25 hours most weeks. She had four major clients and had yearly income of 1.2 million. Yeah. So just depending on how she licensed it. So we worked with her. It was like absurd. The absurd amount. This is the other thing, guys. Like she had an absurd amount of prospects begging for her attention in her sales pipeline any given month. So if she wanted to pull in more, she could pull in more. And she did pull in more. She pulled in like 10 within the next year and she was fine. I think she may have worked more than 25 hours, but for that sure year, she needed to work 25 hours. Um, but you guys can see it can easily scale beyond what you are currently doing when you do this right, right? Okay. So, big change. This could be a big change in your current lifestyle if you're working harder, not smarter. If you're working like and getting nickel and dimed, but you could actually have an income like Terry. So, your exclusive life-changing offer, right? You got two choices here. You guys can take everything that I've shown you and do all of this on your own. You can. You can do it on your own. Um, or you guys can see the programs I have that can help you fast track it all. So, number one will take you longer. It will take you longer unless you specifically do lead gen and you are specifically within these systems and you know your ideal clients, you know it gets them to open up these emails, you know it gets them to open up the message, you know it gets them to connect with you, all those things. Now, if you know how to do that, then yeah, you're going to go pretty fast with everything I just gave you. You're like, oh, I get it. I'll just run with this. Got it. No, and absolutely, if you can, do it. Now, for 99% of you guys that are watching this, probably 99.9% of you guys, it's going to take longer if you do it by yourself. It just is. And it's not going to just take a little while longer. It's going to take a lot longer, depending on if you've ever done this before. Um, it could take you that much longer. So, but I'm going to help you guys fast track it. And it does. There's two really good offers here. So stay on a little bit longer if you want to hear what those are, because there's two. All right. So this is the Influence Builders Speaker Sales Accelerator. So yes, we have it, the Business Sales Accelerator, but really this is for people who want to be trainers, speakers, and consultants. So you're going to be speaking in front of people. This is a 6-month container, and it's a hybrid group program. Uh, the first 3 months, this is what you guys would get: weekly module trainings on how to build out your platform's website, lead magnets for massive attraction to ideal corporate clients. Here's the other thing, guys: your cold outreach goes really well when you have certain things in place. It does. It does. Yep. And you guys are going to want to create that hub. I'm going to show you guys how to create that hub. So the modules will help you do that. That's within the first 3 months. You get all of your modules within the first 3 months. Weekly live trainings with both me and then guest trainers, because I'm bringing in guest trainers for this one. Two personalized one-on-one calls with me. We're going to do a program product development call. We're going to check everything. I will look at your lead magnets too in that call, and then a technology setup one. So anything that you guys need for help with your technology, we're going to look at that. And we do those really fast. We do those right at the beginning of you signing on. So two personalized one-on-one calls. They're usually an hour. If I have to go over an hour, I will save some room to do that. And that usually will come with that first one. Okay. That's the first 3 months. It's a 6-month container though. So over the 6 months, so then I mean, it's not that you have to wait all 6 months to get all of this. It comes together very beautifully within 6 months. So you guys also get lead generation strategies that are specific to your outreach needs, right? So everybody's different. This is a customization. We're going to help you with that. We're going to actually give you those lead generation strategies that are specific. We're going to help you with that. Email, messaging, SMS, and cold calling scripts for success. We will help you guys with these two. That's a lot of what we do on those calls, is that we look at this stuff so that we're really more specific to you. You guys are also going to get a list of groups, associations, platforms, etc., where your ideal client is looking for talent. There are so many out there, guys, that you don't know about. I don't know how somebody would know about them unless they do this for a living. We've got And do we have all of them? No, but we're always adding to the list. So if you guys are like, where do I find these people? We've got the places to look for them. And then 6 months worth of access to the Speaker Influence membership. So there's actually a membership program as well. And I'll tell you guys more about that because it's another choice. But if you join the group accelerator, the sales accelerator, then you guys get it for the whole 6 months. So that is the group program. Now, this could easily go for 25K guys. Like, I mean, I'm seriously thinking about turning this into a mastermind rather than a hybrid group. But here's the thing for now, I want to fill this next cohort before September 15th. So if you guys are watching this and we're close to September 15th, you better jump on a phone call really fast. Um, and so for the next 10 people, it's going to be 74.97 if you want to pay in full, or you can do 6 payments of 1,500 during those 6 months. Well, it's 14.99, but you guys get it. So yeah, it's very reasonably priced. I mean, almost it's like a third of what it is going to be eventually for the mastermind. Okay. So that is for the first 10 people only. You got to get in before September 15th. And on top of that, for my first 5 cohort members, for the first 5 before the 15th, here's a bonus for you guys. We're actually going to do the research and pitch you to 400 ideal prospects in month 3. So we need month 1 and 2 for you guys to get some things up and going. Of course, you guys can run ahead and do the cold email reach out. We're just gonna kind of up it for you. We're going to throw some accelerant on this for you, and we're going to pitch you to 400 ideal prospects in month 3. So beginning of month 3, there's going to be a checklist for those 5 of you that jump on first. You're going to have that completed, and then we're going to pitch you guys to those ideal prospects. We're going to do that for you with my expert pitching methods. Yep. So if you guys are interested, you can't click and buy. No, you actually got to go through a discovery call with me. It'll be with me. So that is the link. You guys, I think you guys can actually click on the links in here, but if not, don't worry about it. You guys can see the button below and go ahead and click there. Sign up for a call with me. Give yourself 30 minutes. We'll go through everything. Okay. All right. So not ready for that one yet. You guys may be thinking, I'm like, that sounds really great. Sometimes I scare people. It's okay. If I scare you, it's okay. I got it. Um, we just work really fast. We move fast. 3 months, we get a lot going on in 3 months. It can be a lot. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you feel like that's a little much for me, I'd like to ease my way into it, maybe the next cohort. Awesome. You guys can join the membership instead. So we're opening up a new membership platform specifically to help you get the corporate clients you need. That's what we're doing. Yes, it is really needed. And so what do you guys get with a membership? It is the Speaker Influence membership. It is fantastic for people who are looking for training gigs, who are looking for speaking gigs, and who are looking for consulting gigs. Now, you could be looking for all three, you could be looking for one of them. This is going to help massively. So, coaches, consultants, agency owners, fractional C suites. This is amazing for you guys. This will really help you guys get to that next point of where you want to be. So, there will be monthly live training sessions. We're going to go over a lot of the things that you guys need to be doing for the lead gen and for the sales. Supportive business development training. So I'm going to release 2 of those trainings per month. Are you going to get exactly what you would get in the group program? No, not quite. They're going to get much more in depth and much more specific. We're going to give you guys business development trainings that you guys can use. You're going to have to bring it into your niche. You guys are also going to see 10 new corporations seeking. So you guys are going to get 20 below. I'm going to add 10 because we're actually doing all of that every month, looking for corporations that are looking for you guys. And so we'll have at least 10 of those per month. Some months we may have more. But it's going to be new corporations seeking speakers, trainers, consultants, and we're going to release this every month with the contact information. That's the other thing, contact information that you're only going to get from us if you're in the membership. So you'll see below, I'm giving you guys the companies. I'm not giving you guys the contact information that we do have. It's in the membership. Guest speakers from both the corporate world and the business world. You guys are going to have monthly, maybe not monthly, maybe every other month guest speakers. But sometimes we'll be bringing in corporations that need you guys. So you want to join that. Now, here's the thing. It is new. So founding members of the Speaker Influence membership community will only have to pay $297 per month because and you're grandfathered into that price. Now, let me just say, If you are grandfathered in, that's with no break. So if you are like, this is great, I love getting those 10, I can always find something. Actually, Danielle's really great. She gives us 20 every month, and the trainings are the best thing I've ever seen. And you stay with us, 297 is as long as you stay with us. If you decide to cancel, you go out, you want to come back in, no problem. It's just going to be at the current price point. That's all. That's all. And so those prices will go up October 1st to the 497. Yeah, we're gonna add an extra 200. There's just so many people that want this. So that's what you guys can do if you are a founding member before the 1st of October. You guys have a whole month, right? Sounds good, doesn't it? Yep. And for those of you guys that decide you want the cohort, you want to jump into the group program, don't worry, you get this for the whole 6 months. You get this for the whole 6 months. And if you guys come in before September 15th, you get grandfathered in afterwards. So you get that 297 per month if you just want the membership community after the cohort finishes, because you're just getting so much more value and you're getting more corporations and just yeah, just makes you love life more. All right. So for the membership, you guys can click there. You can go check out. And then you guys will get an additional 10. We got an additional 10 speaking. Nice, huh? And we do have those contact forms. We have those contact information for those ones. So that's what you guys can do. I really appreciate you guys spending over an hour with me on this. I hope you guys stayed to the end. And, gosh, go get those. Go, look below, get your 20 corporations. Um, watch this again, use it, start moving forward. Yes, you guys can have everything that you're looking for when it comes to getting some of these higher ticket gigs, these corporate gigs, because they really do need experts coming in. They have some big gaps. They have some big gaps to fill. And right now, they're just not able to fill those with their employees. So they need outside influence. They need outside people who have taken the time to build up that expertise. So if that's you guys can move forward. There's tons of information here. I hope you enjoyed. Um, and yeah, reach out to us if you have any questions about the programs. But I would just choose and move forward. Bye for now.